9, 8. There it is. Welcome, everybody, to the very first installment of the NFC East Podcast. Here with me today, I am Scott, the Giants fan representative in the NFC East Podcast. As the guests and also co-hosts of the podcast, we have Dan, the Eagles fan. You got to check out his channel, Debate with Dan, where he covers the Eagles and sports. And then we have Joey, the Cowboys fan representative. And your guy almost forgot his Giants jersey, so I'll be throwing that on. But first, I just want you guys to introduce yourself, whether you're watching from Dan's stream or you're watching from my stream. You may know us, you may not. But I'll just start off by introducing how long I've been following football and how long I've been following the Giants in the NFC East. I've been following very closely since about 2015, and ever since then I've dove in very deep into the NFL and become enamored with not just the Giants, but the nature of playoff races and like the psychology of how it all goes down. So I love, those sorts of dynamics throughout the NFL season, and that's why I watch. So Joey, why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers of the NFC East Podcast, how long you've been watching and how long you've been a Cowboys fan?
What's going on, guys? Name's Joey. I gotta say, I've probably been a Cowboys fan since probably 2009. I've been enamored with the star my whole life. It's been a curse, I would say, more than anything, but I do have fun, I gotta say.
All right. Dan, would you like to introduce yourself to the stream viewers and how long you've been watching football and how long you've been a fan of the Birds?
Alrighty, so if we're gonna do this, then I'm gonna do how I'm gonna do it on my channel. What's going on, everybody? That one dude is in the house, baby, and we are back. Well, actually, with the first John of the NFC East Podcast, man. Oh man, I've been excited for this, John. But in terms of how long I've been a Birds fan, bro, probably since I came out the womb, bro. I remember my pops told me I came out with a Brian Dawkins jersey, just straight out of my mom's hoo-ha. You know what I mean? And we here, bro, since day one, locked in. Since Brian Westbrook, since Brian Dawkins, since Trent Cole, since Vinny Curry, bro, we locked in all day, every day. I'm telling you, I love my Birds since day one. I'm telling you, we locked in. I still remember slightly of the 2004 Super Bowl, but guess what? We back. We up 2. I got no issues, no problem, bro.
No way you remember that Super Bowl.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you. I still remember, bro.
He had the Eagles hat and everything.
Bro, I'm telling you, I had the Eagles shoes on. I shat myself in my diaper.
Was that your very first memory as a human being on the planet Earth?
That was probably one of my first memories when I locked into this world, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, so that's Dan, that's Joey, and once again, I'll repeat, I'm Scott. We have all been friends for a couple years now, and as fans of different teams in the NFC East, the dynamic of us discussing football has gotten borderline violent at times, but we have very much enjoyed that dynamic, and I'm so glad that we can bring it to you here today. So I'll quickly break down our plan for the show today and what we plan on covering. It's going to be about week 5. We got some big questions and things of that nature, but here's the order that we're going to go in.
First, hey, we got a follower. On Twitch.
Clap it up.
Oh, give me Johnny. Give me some, bro. Give me some.
All right, that's good news. So the plan is for today. First, we are going to cover a quick recap of the game scores, who won, who lost. We're going to say what we thought was the most surprising game of week 5. Then we're going to go into our 5 big questions of the week 5 show. That is going to be, are the Ravens going to miss the playoffs? Are the Eagles still the best team in the NFL? Should the Giants fire Brian Daboll midseason? If this continues, you know what that is. And then, are the Buccaneers legit Super Bowl contenders? And then at the end, I will produce a top 10 list, and Dan and Joey will tell me where they agree or disagree with that list. We'll have some closing thoughts, and it's going to be a great time. I cannot wait to get into it. So, quick recap of week 5. Also, currently, this is being live streamed right before, and it will be going on during the Monday night game between the Chiefs and the Jaguars, so they have not played yet. But on Thursday night, the 49ers upset the Rams 26-23. The Vikings in London beat the Browns 21-17. Guys, if my mic is a little loud too, you can tell me that as well, because I cannot hear that. The Cowboys destroyed the Jets 37-22. The Giants lost to the Saints 14-26. I've got a fiery reaction up on my channel about that one. The Colts blew out the Raiders 40-6. The Panthers with an amazing 17-point comeback versus the Dolphins, winning by a score of 27-14. The Broncos upsetting the best, or viewed as best team in the NFL, 21-17, beating the Eagles. The Texans beat the Ravens 44-10. The Titans with an amazing comeback, winning 22-21. Amari DiMarcado dropping the ball, running it in while they had a 21-6 lead. Completely embarrassing for him. Completely embarrassing. The Buccaneers in a shootout against the Seahawks win 38-35. Sam Darnold proving me wrong once again, but also Baker Mayfield proving me right. And then we had the Lions 37-24 over the Bengals. I think we all saw that coming. Alternate spread. Let's go. And then Commanders 27-10 over the Chargers. That offensive line situation is a disaster over there. The Patriots on Sunday Night Football upsetting the Bills. That's 3 major upsets this week, 23-20 versus the Bills. Guys, Joey, why don't you go first? What was the most surprising game to you in Week 5?
I got to say it has to be the Patriots beating Buffalo in Buffalo. Drake May, I mean, he didn't even have a passing touchdown, and I just love what he's doing in New England.
Damn, what was your most surprising game of Week 5?
I can't even lie to you. No, I can't hate on that. I fully agree with that whole take. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I'll talk about like the Birds more later on and stuff like that. But I'm not really I wasn't shocked about the Broncos' loss, if I'm being personally honest, because of the fact that I felt like it was needed. But like I said, I'll explain that later down the road, later down in the conversation. But the Bills,
1-3, being honest.
The Bills should be. I'm talking. The Bills losing to the Patriots in the fashion that they did was honestly for real shocking. Like, you come out new rivalry jerseys, long word, and like in your hometown, everybody's going crazy. Like they were looking like they're supposed to win the Super Bowl, MVP, all that ish. And you choke against the Patriots, you mean? So it's a little different. Stefan, I see you saying, what's up, man? How's the stream going, bro? We here, bro. We here, we live, we do what we gotta do, man.
What's up, Jake? We need by the way, Jake, yes, we do need a Commanders fan. That is the last fan we need to really complete this podcast, but I figure 3 or 4 is plenty good enough.
No,
I think that's pretty quality. Yeah. So
no one cares about the Washington Wizards.
I think, the Bills Patriots game.
Yeah, this is just so
All right.
Hey, one more note though. One more note on the Patriots Bills.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs turning back the clock, going for 146 yards against Buffalo.
Yeah, I can't lie. He does go off against them. He does go off against them.
On the Texans and on the Patriots. So yeah, I mean, I did still think the Patriots would cover that. What was it, like 7.5 point spread? I had a feeling. I thought it'd be a closer game. Just Mike Vrabel primetime. Like, figured he'd have a good game plan. I did not think the Bills would lose like that. But my most surprising game of the week to me. This could be totally biased, but I just want to get this out there. The Giants losing to the Saints the way they did after the way they beat the Chargers last week. They didn't have Malik Neighbors last week. They had 5 turnovers against a team that was 0-4 and getting completely destroyed not every single week. They were a little scrappy, but you understand what I'm saying. I don't think anyone foresaw just how badly the Giants would fumble that game away, quite literally. And I get Vegas had them favored, but you saw so many people picking the Giants as like a clear upset winner of the week, and it just didn't happen. I think 49ers-Rams was kind of surprising too, and so was Titans-Cardinals. I didn't see that coming. All right, so that's our most surprising games of the week. Now, we're going to get into our 5 big questions of Week 5, our 5 big takeaways that have got the mind wondering. The first question: are the Ravens going to miss the playoffs this year? 1-3. Lamar Jackson likely to miss 1 or 2 more weeks with the hamstring injury. Derrick Henry, not sure if it's the age cliff or if it's just, they're all the other injuries they have on their team reducing them. But the Ravens just look like they might miss the playoffs. Despite that, they're still favored to win the AFC North at 1-3. So, Joey, why don't you kick this off? Why don't you answer the question: are the Ravens going to miss the playoffs?
I just have a hard time seeing the Ravens get over this defensive hump that they have. I mean, they've given up over 30 points a game. I think 4 out of their last 5 games. Only game that they haven't did that against was against the Browns. We already know what the Browns are. It's just uncompetitive football in Baltimore going on right now. Plus, I want to add in they don't have a real quarterback. I just thought I'd say that. I mean, realistically, they have the Aaron Judge of quarterbacks. He is a regular season merchant, and right now he's not even doing that. So I don't know. I just have a hard time seeing that. Plus, you can mark them down for 2 losses against Pittsburgh. It's guaranteed every fucking year. They can't beat Pittsburgh. So
That is facts.
plus money to win the division right now. It doesn't make sense to me.
Dan, are the Ravens going to miss the playoffs?
Personally, I say yeah. What's it called? I just don't feel the same aura, the same feeling when it comes to like playing. Like the thing is like I feel like since like all of us, of course, play on the same team, like when you walking in, you better win a game. And every time I feel like I see the Ravens step to the field, it's like they low-key ain't trying to fucking be there. Personally, like I think Zay Flowers is like a huge flop. I think like dude should be like gardening rather than catching footballs because I don't know what the hell's going on here. I pick him in fantasy 2 years in a row and he sold me both times. Like I don't know whether they want to say that like Lamar doesn't have receivers, but I feel like Bateman and Flowers with any other team would be astonishing. I think they'd be pretty fire. I think Henry fumbling numerous times in very big key moments is like for a dude named King Henry, he's really taking a lead on these fumbles kind of thing. Like especially like, huh?
Like
Being who?
Clown Henry. Is that what you're suggesting?
Clown Henry. Yes, Clown
He's more
Henry.
like,
Yeah,
the jester.
Yeah. So to me, it's like one of those things where it's just like I don't when I see the Ravens, I don't feel that same like that energy of like, oh shit, this is about to be a crazy game. It's kind of just more just like, are they going to show up today? Are they not going to show up? There's no really like consistency anymore. And it's like, I've seen some places where people are like blame Harbaugh that it's his fault or whatever the case is, but I just can't really wholeheartedly. Like I think all the players on there have enough talent and that whole team has enough talent to be able to go far. But all I'm saying is just like, I don't think Lamar is getting as much hate for doing what he's doing as much as Hurts does. And personally, they have a good amount of weapons on both teams. So, that's just my point of the whole thing. So no, I don't think the Ravens are gonna make it personally, but
All right, first I just want to respond to the chat. Good luck to you also, Gene. We have a showdown between Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange. I'm down by like 3 points or something. So, yes, good luck. We'll see how that game goes.
22, what's going on? What's happening? I see you just joined the chat. What's going on?
What's going on, guys? All right, so just for my response to are the Ravens going to miss the playoffs, you both clearly think there's a pretty good chance that they do. I think there's a reason that they are still favored. I think after the bye week, they can get everyone healthy. We've seen this team go on winning streaks before. We've seen them have a slow start like this last year and the year before. I think the Lamar injury hurts really bad because I think, they'd be in obviously much better position to win the games and not get blown out by a team like the Texans. But they do have an elite defense.
What?
The Texans have an elite defense.
Oh,
They
I thought you
completely
said
shut down Cooper Rush and all that and Derrick Henry. But I think it's definitely going to be close. But I'm not sure that the Steelers are just going to hold on to the division lead. You got to remember that the Ravens could still make the playoffs at 9-7 if the Steelers have, some kind of fumbling, losing streak down the stretch. The Bengals, obviously, they're out of it. And the Browns are not going to make the playoffs, obviously, or win the division. And the AFC also seems like, there's a lot of struggling teams right now, a lot of good teams right now that are struggling. We just saw the Bills lose to the Patriots. Like, there's a lot of season to go. A lot of things can change really quickly. And I think if this Ravens team gets healthy, they will be back to being a top 3 team in the NFL. So I'm not going to say that they're going to miss the playoffs, but I'm definitely not confident that they're going to make it either. So a bit of a neutral stance from me there. Anyone have anything to say in response before we move on to the next question?
I can see them getting in, but it's just going to be the same story every year. They get bounced. So, like,
yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Dan?
I guess my question, like the whole thing is just like after getting bounced, I guess to me, my question to you guys is like, how many years do you keep giving Lamar a chance? You know what I mean? Is he the problem or is it something else? You know what I mean?
We're not talking about him the way we talk about Dak Prescott. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yo, we're not talking about Dak Prescott.
I'm just saying.
I do have
He's 3-5 in the playoffs. He had a number 1 defense in 2022, and then he just can't get it done. He's never had back-to-back playoff wins. Like, what does he do? He's a regular season stat pattern is what he is.
All right, I do have hope for this. The Steelers. I would actually prefer them to go further in the playoffs this year.
Like
as far as
DK this year.
Yeah. For the Ravens, it's just kind of like I think it's too soon to call anything like that. It's just kind of the way I see it. All right. Let's move on to the next question, and this is going to be a fun one for the NFC East podcast right here. I'm very excited for this one. I know how I feel about it already, so I'm going to let Dan take this one from the start. Are the Eagles still the best team in the NFL after losing to the Broncos and all of the sort of fluky wins off the special teams plays and stuff like that? Are they the best team still?
I'm going to say this right here, right now, bro. Fuck yeah, they're still the best team. And let me explain to you why. 2023, we were going on a what? Like 9-0, 10-0, 11-0, like undefeated situation. What did that look like? The Steelers run when everyone thought the Steelers were gonna go with Big Ben all the way to the Super Bowl, and what happened? First round exits. So it's like, as we've talked about beforehand, like offline and everything like that. It's like I have been telling when I went back to Philly this weekend, I'm like, I need them to lose this week. Why? Because you never learn as a football team what you're good at and what you're bad at when you lose week 10, week 11, week 13. Because guess what? By that point, all these teams that may have 2-3 losses, like the Cowboys and what's it called?
3-4. We got 2.
That's what I said. I said 2-3 losses. It's okay, man.
Continue.
You're just lucky CD Lamb had Butterfingers. That's really all it comes down to. You guys had an easy.
You're muted. You're muted. Dan, you're muted. All right. Joey, while Dan's figuring this out, why don't you give a quick response, and then when Dan figures this out, he can come back. He can jump back in.
I just don't know how you can watch the Eagles play football and, number one, enjoy what you're watching. It's a terrible product to watch. It's terrible. They can't throw the ball. The one time they let Jalen Hurts throw the ball 40 times, what happens? They lose. No surprise there. He is realistically, they got bailed out week 1, and then they got bailed out again against the Rams. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I just don't see it. They remind me more of 2023 than they do of last year. I feel like they lost a lot of talent in the offseason, and that's showing with their depth and all, especially on defense. The talent that they had on defense that's gone. The O-line's regressed a bit. Saquon Barkley looks like he's regressed. And then Jalen Hurts is just, he's nothing more than a game manager who is a fullback at the same time. So, I don't know. I've never watched. I guess I'll just leave it there. And then again, I wanted to bring this to the best team in football, Indiana Jones and the Colts. How about that?
All right.
12. I'll leave it there.
Leave it there for now. We'll come back to best teams in the NFL as a full slate. But Dan, do you have your microphone working now?
Yeah, we're back. We're back online. All right.
Continue, and you can kind of respond to that.
To finish that thought before I get back into that whole thing. So my whole thing is we've seen it before, and I've seen it, like we're back to it again. 2022, 2024. We went on a hot streak. We thought we were like that. We thought we had to go, but then guess what? This last season, we took losses that while everybody was like, "Oh, see, they're fake, they're false. This isn't the team. This isn't it." It's like you're gonna grow throughout the time, and that's why it's like seeing all this, I guess, tea about, AJ Brown's drama, this, that, and the third. They hate this, they hate that. It's like I don't buy it. I'm not there for it. Why? Because it's like, to me, it's like I've always seen Philly media growing up my whole life that it's blowing stuff a little bit out of proportion, where it's just like all you gotta need is just to sit back and you like watching the team itself. It's just like you could just tell like they all are on the same mission. They're there to win. They're trying to lock in. They mess up now. Let's see what Thursday looks like, because I bet you there's going to be a lot of things. I can promise you right now, we watch Thursday and there's going to be a lot of situations where people are going to be like, oh, shit, I haven't seen that. Oh, shit, they're picking up with this. But you know why it's not going to mean so much? Because we're playing the Giants. And to respond to you, Joey.
There you go. Playing the Giants.
And then we're going to go.
Full prediction, A.J. Brown's traded at the deadline. That's what I got for you.
All right. Wrap it up here. Dan, and I'll give my response.
Okay, too, and I got a question in the chat as well. So then we'll do that after you, John, too. So then, what's his face? So Joe, to your thing, Jalen Hurts, game manager. It's like we waited almost a year for this dude to take his first loss. Okay, and there's always constant.
Jalen Hurts stat or a team stat?
And this is where it's just like
Can you
all the
answer that
time.
question?
Okay, so then my question. Okay, so my question is you're saying Hurts is shitty, but you also have told me in the past Sirianni is a shitty coach.
I have nothing to really say about Sirianni. I think your OC is back to being the 2023 version of the offense you guys had. It's just very vanilla. It's very just the same competitive shit, repetitive stuff, I should say.
Okay, I can agree with the offensive calls are pretty dog water.
Yeah, and then Jalen Hurts just, I mean, obviously he does enough to win the game, but it's not like you put any other top quarterback on the team, it's just a blowout every time, I feel like. That's kind of where I'm at with Hurts. Hurts just, I get that he has a good deep ball. It's just, where is it? Why don't we ever see it? Why is that like something that we don't
get in this game with Jahan Dotson, you know what I mean?
You just have two number one receivers. You can't get the ball to them.
Let me see how does
CeeDee Lamb have more yards than AJ Brown, and he hasn't played in 2 weeks? Can you answer that?
We can break down all of these, these other stats and more individual things. I'm going to try to marry these two ideas here. We have an Eagles fan saying they are still the best team. We have a Cowboys fan saying they are not the best team. So here's where I kind of lie. We're hearing a lot of talk about 2023, where the coordinators were a huge blame for everything. I think since 2022, overall, this roster has been overall like probably top 3 to the best in the NFL. So I think the roster, the structure has overall mostly been the same. But what's different? It's the coordinators now. Last year, they won the Super Bowl. They had 2 great coordinators, Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. This year, they clearly have a struggling offensive coordinator. The offense is struggling, but they still do have Vic Fangio, okay? And last year, we saw a slow start for Jalen Hurts. We saw a slow start for the offense for them. Even late in the season, Jalen Hurts had an injury. I was calling it out as something that was going to bite them in the playoffs, and they figured it out because they were healthy. So here's what I see.
They're dropping 50 a game.
Well, right. They were a loaded roster, loaded coaching staff, so it worked, right? By the time they made it to the Super Bowl, Hurts was back to 100%. But this is what I see kind of happening. I think it's kind of in between 2023 and the Super Bowl last year. I do think the Chiefs were not the best AFC team, especially considering like Chris Jones was injured in that game. They were missing an offensive lineman or two as well. That really gave the Eagles an advantage in the trenches. And I think, like I said, this is going to be somewhere in between that. So, winning the Super Bowl versus getting blown out in the divisional round, you have some injuries, the coordinators are bad. We're going to have to see. I think a few injuries really could knock the Eagles out, right? We have some banged up offensive linemen right now. So, I don't think it's going to be some easy path for the Eagles last year, and I think maybe a close game to the Packers or the Rams like last year. I'm not sure they're going to get through, but overall,
you don't want to see Dallas.
Who could beat most of the teams in the NFL? Who's the most matchup proof? Who would I just bet on right now? I would still probably bet on the Eagles, so I do still think they're the best team in the NFL. But I would say I don't think there's a very clear best team in the NFL right now. I think it was a lot more clear week 1. I think you can make a good argument for a lot of teams right now. So that's kind of the way I see it. And that's good.
That's good football.
I think that's good football, right? I agree. So, all right. So let's move on to a topic that I'm very passionate about. I'm going to start this one off. Should the Giants fire Brian Daboll mid-season if this continues? We talked a little bit about this before the stream started. As you can see, if you don't already know, I'm a Giants fan. And we've got 2 NFC East fans who have also played the Giants twice a year and kind of know what to expect from them. And they know that the Giants cannot beat their team, right? It can never happen unless if there's some kind of major injuries or it's a throwaway game. And we've seen this in year 4 of this regime between Daboll and Shane, and it just looks like more of the same, right? This to me is going to go all the way back to the end of last season when it was right before Black Monday and everyone was asking then, are the Giants going to fire Brian Daboll? And I thought, I thought they were going to, and I said I like Brian Daboll, but I don't love Joe Shane, and they're a package deal, and there could be some desperate decisions made, that could compromise the next couple years of the franchise if we keep him, like drafting a Jackson Dart and then talking about firing Brian Daboll. So I think the time to fire him was last year, right? Right before you get your new quarterback or you kind of load up the roster and you wait a year on quarterback. that would have been the time to do it. Now, I think it's too late. It is too late to fire Brian Daboll. You got to give him at least a year with Jackson Dart. It's a shame that Malik Neighbors is injured, but this is just the reality of the Giants rosters. It's very fragile. I said in my season preview for them, Neighbors or Andrew Thomas goes down, the ceiling for the entire team falls out from underneath it because there's no wide receiver depth, no offensive line depth. And guess where we are right now? We're missing Malik Neighbors. Andrew Thomas wasn't healthy for the first few weeks, and we only have one win. So it's not a big surprise, probably to most people, that this is where the Giants are. But I think there's a lot of problems. I do think Daboll deserves some blame for the preparation of the team, the slow starts to the season, a lot of undisciplined mistakes that I feel like we were on. Like that first year with Daboll where we made the playoffs, felt like the reason we made it is Daniel Jones and the team was playing clean football, right? Not getting that many penalties and things of that nature. Now it just looks like all that has been gone for like 3 years now. So really that is my main concern with Brian Daboll. I do still think he's got what it takes as an offensive mind, but as a head coach overall, I've questioned it more and more over the years, obviously. But I do think it's not the right time to fire Brian Daboll. But we'll see how the rest of the season goes. If it gets worse and worse and worse, it might just be time to cut it loose and, get a new coach and GM in here. Really tough spot, but I don't think they should fire him mid-season. That's my answer. Dan, what do you think?
I mean, for me personally, I believe this is one of those like situations where after seeing like Neighbors get a little hot with Daboll, especially in the middle of a game and things like that, like they kind of reminded me in the sense of the Eagles in past time when it was like Doug Peterson and Chip Kelly and all them, where it was like you're starting to get into a sense of just like, bro, all we do is kind of lose, right? No shot, okay, just straight seriousness, okay. If it was the Cowboys, it'd probably be a little bit more personal for me. But like, what's it called? It's just one of those things where I feel like you need, like Scatterboo and Dart, I feel like are part of the pieces you guys need genuinely to have that great like morale boost, that sense of just like, yo, we are like the New York Giants. But it's like Daboll's, I feel like hard demeanor plus hard play style, and like back then, like you and I when we were watching the game, wondering why you have Daniel Jones running a QB sneak, like he's supposed to be like some Josh Allen build and all that issue in between to like get all. So it's like that's kind of like, I guess,
behind
idea
that
when like not
line really is what it was for me.
You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where it's like looking at it, seeing like, okay, like you're not able to perform. He's getting agitated, having to take all these players out, wondering like, oh my God, what's going on? You're killing the mojo of the team. And like if the team itself isn't there mentally, they're not going to be there for game day. So to me, it's like to get rid of something that you know is hurting you. One being like Daboll, I would not be opposed. I low-key think it would be smart to try to separate him from the team like they did with the Saints. When they got rid of their coach midseason, they brought in, their special teams guy, and the morale completely changed. Commentators talking about, oh, they love him so much. And the Saints ended up showing up towards the end of the year last year for absolutely no reason. They were not going to make it to the playoffs, but at the end of the day, it's like it changed the morale, and look at them now, you know what I mean? Like they're still on the best record, but it's like the team's a lot more put together now with Kellen Moore having spirits raised, and now we're here. So I think there's more benefits to than just coaching, but also to like the mentality you have together, like as a team in itself, especially in like the rebuilding stage, like through my experience in the Chip Kelly era, like when you realize, oh shit, like this is actually a good team, you're having fun again, like it really does help you a long way. So low-key, it's like Daboll might be low-key of a negative cancer that might be killing you guys with his.
So it's like the opposite of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like it's broke, fix it now.
It's broke. It's time to fix it now.
Get your improvement started as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Joey, what do you think? Should the Giants fire Brian Daboll midseason if this continues?
I just want to start off and say, like, I'm a huge Brian Daboll hater. I thought there was no way he was going to be brought back after last season. Really, the last 2 seasons, how they snowballed the same way each year, just being a flat football team, just showing no type of edge. But at this point, I feel like with the commitment of you guys trading up and getting Jackson Dart, I feel like it's just malpractice to fire Daboll midseason in Jackson Dart's rookie year. Like, I'm at the point now where it's like, obviously you got to finish the year out with him, but I think you might need to see another year with him just to see year 2 Dart under the coach that actually drafted him. Because I just don't know where the Giants would go if they did fire this duo. Just because, like, I just don't see where you'd want to start to fix this team.
Yeah, Mike Kafka or Shane Bowen as the head coach, like they're not great either.
Not even that. It's just like you guys are like, I feel like halfway to where you want to be. It's just you need another year to see it through. And if, Jackson Dart's who Brian Daboll thinks he is, I would want to see him under Daboll and Daboll's offense in year 2. I wouldn't want to just restart the process of giving a head coach who didn't draft this guy a quarterback he probably doesn't want. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how when you brought Daboll in and you already had Daniel Jones, like that wasn't his guy. It was just a bad situation. It's just going to be the same cycle you repeat. That's kind of why I feel like you got to run it back one more year after this year with Daboll. Okay. And then after year 2, after another look at it, then you make a decision. Because you guys kind of committed to that by keeping him after last year and then drafting Jackson Dart. So it wouldn't make sense to fire him, I feel like.
All right, so you kind of agree with my stance, I suppose. Maybe a slightly different perspective, but the same idea.
My whole idea is just Jackson Dart and his development.
It's about him.
How can I not mess it up as much as I want to?
Right. And I think that is the most important thing is the future of the franchise is the quarterback. It's a big problem the team's had. They've had many other problems like the wide receivers and O-line. I think the defense will figure it out if the offense isn't the worst in the NFL, turning the ball over 5 times. I think the defense is, Bowen, we could talk about him as a coach, but I agree. I think Dart needs to be the main priority. And if that means keeping Daboll, we keep him. And if it means we fire him, then we fire him. I think it probably means we should keep him. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's talk about a good team, a very good team in my mind, perhaps even a Super Bowl contender, a legit one. Are the Buccaneers a Super Bowl contender, Joey? What do you think?
Yes.
So if you were to put them in a tier with, like, say, the Eagles, the Lions, the Packers, and the Bucks, how would you kind of order that?
Well, I would say that there's no clear favorite in the NFC. Like, I think they're all on kind of the same level playing field, and I feel like just with how high-powered the Bucs offense is, paired with Todd Bowles, it's just anything can happen with that team. Just a matter of what Baker does when it matters the most.
Yeah. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, low key, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like on a similar page, but also too, like, I also feel as if there's a lot of like young big pieces that are in the Bucs organization that I feel like a lot, like, for example, like, I know everyone knows Buka, that's no problem, but like Tej Johnson, for example, getting a lot more attention, a lot more snaps. The reason why I know that is because of fantasy and everything like that. But it's like there's like a lot of names I feel like in that organization that now a lot of people are starting to pay attention to in a sense. Like, so you got Vita Vea, and they drafted that guy, that tackle from Florida, right? The guy who's like beyond overweight, and they're still trying to get him to like lose mad weight and stuff like that. Like, all I'm saying is that he gets right, bro. And you have like 2 Vita Veas like in the middle. I'm just asking, like, who's running the ball? You know what I mean? Down the middle on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, they have the prime pieces to be able to do things, but it's like nobody knows about it, which is what's, I guess, to me, like, scary in a sense. So, yes, do I see them as a contender for sure? In terms of ranking them, like, even though, yeah, they may have the Eagles number, I don't put them, like, on the same, like, rank as us, but it's like they, to me, are like a Lions, like around like the Lions Packers kind of realm in the sense of like they have the consistency, they have the parts. Now it's like, can everybody show up together to be able to put it together, kind of thing.
Okay, I'm probably the highest person on the Bucs right here, in this call right here, and it might have a little bit of something to do with the fact that I am prepping a video on Baker Mayfield. But honestly, looking back at the way he's played with this Buccaneers team, I think he is a big key reason why I think you can make an argument they are the best team in the NFC projecting towards the playoffs. Not right now, maybe they're not the best team in the NFC right now, but come playoffs, this team was injured coming into the year with Tristan Wirfs and Godwin. Every single week moving forward, those two are going to get healthier and healthier. They don't have Evans right now, and they've still been winning, right? Mm-hmm. And they replace an offensive coordinator every year, but it doesn't matter because they get some guy from that Sean McVay tree, and it just pretty much stays the same, right? You had Dave Canales, and you had Liam Cohen. I can't remember who it is off that spot right now, but I know for sure it's another Rams guy. So I just think you're talking about all the pieces they have. So we have Evans, Godwin, and Igbuka, and then you got Tej Johnson as your 4. You got Bucky Irving, Rashad White, and Sean Tucker. I love that running back trio. I think Tucker and
Sterling
White.
Shepard.
And you have Sterling Shepard as your wide receiver 5, right? The offensive line is good. Tight end, Kate Otton's okay. But
I drafted him. I'm pretty high on him, but yeah.
the defense, the defense is good at
pair that offense with Todd Bowles,
right, and
as
so
your defense as your head coach.
That's the other thing is the defense has some bad moments, like we saw them let up 35 to the Seahawks. I don't like that, but what I do like is that, like you said, Todd Bowles is the head coach, and I think come playoff time, if they're healthy the way they are now, they're very good at stopping the run, and stopping the run, it becomes very important in the playoffs because teams play a lot safer. They don't want to lose the game. They run the ball, try to manipulate, the outcome of the game, and they're going to be one of the best teams at stopping that. And I want to come back to my final point because I essentially just laid out how I think their roster is right there with the Packers. I think it's right there with the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the coaching staff is right there. Matt LaFleur is probably the best coach, I think, in that grouping. I think he probably even tops out like the Eagles coaching staff.
Matt LaFleur?
Yeah, Matt LaFleur is a great coach, and we can
get fired.
Matt LaFleur, the Packers head coach.
Yeah,
you think he should get fired?
Packers GMs just changed, and this is like a prove-it year for the Packers. This is why they went and got Michael Parsons, because their GM was on the hot seat and their head coach.
I don't know I would not have said that after last season. I mean, they really got screwed by Jordan Love getting, injured early on, and they still managed to win games. Matt LaFleur coaching games with Malik Willis. So, and he's got one of the best records in the NFL of any head coach in his first 4 or 5 seasons. I mean, he did have Rodgers at first, but we've seen dudes not make it work with him. But my last point on the Buccaneers that I just want to make is I think when you compare the quarterbacks of Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, and Baker Mayfield, I think there's a real argument that Baker Mayfield has the strongest X factor, the strongest it factor out of any of these guys, the clutchest guy in that grouping. And I really like the mobility he has. I think he inspires the team more than Jared Goff does, more than Jordan Love does, and potentially more than Jalen Hurts does. I know someone might not agree with that, but I think Baker really is an inspiring guy, and he's got what it takes in this system. This is a great team. He is in a good system, and I think there's a real chance that they could literally win the Super Bowl this year. That's how I feel about them.
I think that you wanted to make your point stronger. You purposely left Dak Prescott off that list because he's the clear best quarterback in the NFC right now, and probably the NFL.
I did forget Dak Prescott. I would not say he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I think he's in the same tier as Baker Mayfield.
He's playing quarterback at the highest level right now.
I mean, the best season for Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott look pretty similar, and we've seen Baker Mayfield not for nothing.
Right now.
All right, we'll talk about right now, but we could still use last year, which just happened, as an example. I just want to remind you, Baker has been phenomenal in the playoffs. Yes, his defense has been better than Dak Prescott's. That's fair, and the offense has been pretty similar. But I don't think, besides the fumble versus the Commanders, we've really seen an ugly play from Baker Mayfield in the playoffs before. I mean, them destroying the Eagles, playing really close against the Lions that year, running into that Commanders team, and really. Probably
AJ Brown didn't play that game. AJ Brown didn't play that game. I'm just saying.
That game, but all right. So I'm the highest on them. I think we all agree though that they have the potential to win the Super Bowl. They're definitely.
They have the potential.
You wanted to go back into Dak in the previous years. Just wanted to say his number 2 receiver last year, Brandon Cooks. He's a current backup on the Saints. How good are the Saints? They're ass.
He was a starter actually.
He caught a pass against the Giants. Just to tell you what he was working with last year. Now he's got George Pickens. George Pickens already tied his career touchdowns in 5 weeks with Dallas.
Maybe next week I'll have to make one of the questions.
I know currently I have my wide receiver too. He's pretty useful right now. Might have to put him on the bench soon.
Who, Pickens?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pickens has been gross. I was all over him. Even before obviously we knew CD would get injured and he'd become the one, but I've been pretty high on Dak. I'm on record saying I think he's better than Jalen Hurts. Dan, I know you're not a fan of that take. But we can have lengthy discussions. I'm gonna try to do a quarterback top 10 list at some point. And maybe I'll bring it on the show and we can talk about Dak Prescott. He can have his own question because I do think he's making a case for it, and you make a strong case for it. So I'm excited to keep talking about that. All right, so before we move on to the next portion, I want to get to some of these comments. Gene, he was on the show on the Pocket last year talking about the Giants. I'd love to have him back on. But he says fire him during the Week 14 bye. So you give like the new head coach 2 weeks to prepare and get the team ready. I think if you were to fire him midseason, that probably is the best time to do it. I still think if you're gonna fire, I still think we probably should do it. But yeah, I think if you were to fire him, that would be the best time to do it. He also said, I also think if you fire Daboll, Shane's got to go too because he's just as much to blame. Totally agree. The past 2 drafts have been pretty good. But you know what happens with the Giants draft classes? They look great the rookie year, and then the next year they all regress. They all regress. Like Banks had a great rookie year. He's been terrible since then. Part of that's Martindale leaving. Last year, Drew Phillips, he's still doing okay, but obviously he looks worse this year. And it's just, there's a ton of examples of that. So I totally agree. I actually dislike Shane more than Daboll. I think a lot of dudes could be a GM. I don't think a lot of dudes can be an offensive mind like Brian Daboll, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But yeah, I think they're both heavily to blame.
I also do got a question here from Millionaire22. We got thoughts on the Parsons trade so far and how it might go.
Joey?
The Parsons trade?
Yeah.
Let me just start by asking you, who has more sacks right now, James Houston or Micha Parsons?
It's James Houston.
It do be James Houston right now at this moment.
Okay, James Houston has more sacks. How much does James Houston cost?
Probably a lot less than $41 million.
Change.
So Dallas got cap space available to keep, a lot of their key guys. Like we can sign Pickens now. We were able to lock up our all-pro left guard. We locked up our all-pro corner. And now you mean to tell me we got another 2 firsts the next 2 years? I kind of like where we're at. I think it was a tough trade at the time, but the team, just looking at the team, the guys they had to sign, it made a lot of sense to do.
I ain't gonna cap you. I ain't gonna cap you, bro. I was smiling ear to ear watching that Packers Cowboys game because I can't even bullshit you. Yo, watching Parsons, first of all, get clamped away. For real, bro. And then you see him right before, mind you, right? I'm not gonna say he won. He didn't win the game, but he also stopped the loss. You know what I mean? Let's be for real here, because Dak definitely would have got in the end zone if Parsons was not behind them and just gripped up his big toe. You know what I mean? So it's like one of them Jones where it's like, I found it to be absolutely crazy. Everyone's like, oh, are they dumb? Are they crazy? Are they crazy? It's like, and I said it in my video 2 weeks ago. That was like, I think the Packers against the Commanders was not tell all be all about what they look like. I think it's literally just it was just so much hype. Personally, thought the Cowboys won the trade off rip. And I remember because I told my barber off rip because he's a Cowboys fan. And I was like, personally, I wouldn't even stress because you got Kenny Clark 2 firsts. And it's like, this dude got clamped. Didn't you guys run a play where you didn't even block him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, they played, didn't even block the ball and threw an out route to Turpin.
The way you beat Micha Parsons is you run at him because he can't stop the run. Yeah. And then you just bring a running back on his side to stop him wherever he's at. Plus, you could also probably say we're being unfair to Micha right now because he is dealing with a back injury. I don't know how much that's actually affecting him, but that's been something that's been going on since the offseason.
And he just joined the team.
It's interesting the injury part of that because he passed the physical, but that was a thing that was going on in the preseason before he even got traded. So I don't know how hurt he actually is, but I remember in the Cowboys-Packers game specifically, he was grabbing at his back a lot. He's been doing that a lot this year. So I don't know how much that's actually affecting him. I'm sure it's a lot. He's just feel like he's a D end.
Right, D end. You're basically going to be hunched over the entire time. Yeah, you're on the bend the entire time, and you have a whole 300-pound dude on your back as you're freaking trying.
Another thing though is that there's just so much pressure on Green Bay now because that was a win now move. So they don't win it to fail. So they don't want people to fail for that. So that's kind of they got all the pressure. So
that's true. The Cowboys get to rebuild over the next 2 or 3 years. I personally ripped this trade when it happened. Because at the time, the Cowboys, I didn't think were in terrible position. I thought the Cowboys were, potentially going to be maybe not winning the division, but could make the best playoff push we've seen Dak have. I thought trading him away would have taken that away. Obviously, you're taking the excellent player and converting some of that value to future draft capital. So it's not going to help you this year. So it seemed like you're taking a step back this year, right? So that is the truth. I don't think, Kenny Clark and James Houston is quite the same as having Parsons. But you know what it does do is it makes them a little more matchup versatile. Cowboys defense was always horrible against the run. And in the playoffs, that was a big problem for them. I do think these edge rushers are going to get clamped up by these better offensive lines in the playoffs. But they might be a little better at stopping the run. So we'll just kind of see what happens. It seems like Eberflus,
he needs to get fired.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it the injuries or is it Eberflus? I'm not too sure.
It's Eberflus. We're not a zone defense, and we're running zone. We're a man defense, and it's just it's a terrible scheme fit for the players.
That's the thing. You got Bland and Diggs. Those are two just straight man corners.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's basically what the Steelers are right now, having Ramsey and Slade.
Another thing too, Micah, is if we had Micah Parsons, there's no way we're 2-2-1 right now. We would have beat Philly, like hands down. We would have beat Philly. He impacts the game. I can't lie. It would have been. It'd be a different outlook right now if Michael Parsons wearing, the star on his helmet. Unfortunately, he's not.
Yeah. All right. I'm not sure if there's any other questions. I do see Ryan Botchka said, Scott, please put faith in the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is back on the perk. He does look really way better than he's looked the past 3 years. So I definitely like what I'm seeing from the Steelers. I would love this. That was when we were talking about the Ravens that he said that. We got some Go Birds in the chat. Hi, big fan here. The Cowboys are like my Wi-Fi strong signal in the first half, total collapse when it matters. We'll see. Because I don't know if that collapse is going to happen in the playoffs. They might just lose like a normal way. They might not get like 40 dropped on their head. But you play the Rams. I don't think you guys beat the Rams or the Bucks.
I'll tell you this. I heard Volch Lombardi say this. It's like the Cowboys' offense is good enough to. You'll be in every game. You can compete against anybody with your offense, but your defense is so bad that you'll be in every game because you can't. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You'll be in every game. That's you're going to be. Yeah, it's just two completely lopsided, offense and defense basically.
That's an exciting season.
If the defense were just middle of the pack, this is a good team. It's just unfortunate that. Then again, they looked good against the Jets, but what does that work?
That's the Jets.
Yes, the Jets.
5 sacks versus the Jets doesn't quite count.
Well, but their line's not bad.
No, it's not. But and Fields is a good scrambler. But you know what? That passing game, just in general, the passing game isn't going to work. You're gonna end up with some sacks. I don't know how many sacks.
Garrett Wilson needs to get traded, bro.
All right.
What's that?
Garrett Wilson needs to just get traded, bro.
No, he wants to stay. He said this is they took a chance on him. He wants to stay with Fields, and they believe in him, so he likes being there. All right. Here's what we're gonna do now. I don't have a graphic for this right now. I'd like to get a graphic for this in the future, but I'm going to be telling both of you my top 10 teams in the NFL heading into week 6. So this is going to reflect a lot of what we've talked about already, but you both can kind of tell me where you agree or disagree in future shows. I'd like to be able to, get some graphics up for everyone to be able to see. But for now, I'm just going to read it off to you guys. All right. So number 1, I still have the Philadelphia Eagles. I would have loved to have moved them down. But the thing is, the teams I had below them, the Bills and the Rams, both also lost. They both also lost games that they shouldn't have lost. The Bills lost to the Patriots. The Rams lost to the 49ers. And the Eagles lost to the Broncos. I think the Eagles got upset by the best team, by like a top 5 team that lost this week. They lost to the best, upset. I actually predicted that the Broncos would win that game. Kind of going into what Dan said, too, you kind of need a loss, in my opinion, at some point in the season. I don't think it's good to go undefeated. That's right. You got to have that moment to humble the players and to let them know that you aren't perfect. You still need to work just as hard every week. And that's when Jalen Hurts has got to come in as the leader of the team and say, guys, we got to respond to this, right? And that we aren't perfect and we have a lot to work on. So Eagles are my number 1 team. I'm going to go through a lot quicker since I just kind of explained my reasoning. Eagles 1. The Bills are number 2. The Rams are still number 3. I still really like what I've seen from them. Number 4, though, I have the Chiefs. I'm really starting to believe that they're going to be back. Getting Rashee Rice back, I think, is going to be huge for them. Having him, Worthy, Thornton, and the running backs still kind of concern me, but I think the offensive line, the longer Justin Simmons plays, the better he's going to play at tackle. And to be honest, if the Chiefs have a good offensive line, we've seen in the Super Bowl versus the 49ers and the Eagles that he could still win like that. So I think they totally deserve to be a top 5 team after their slow start to the season. Number 5, I still have the Packers, who are above my number 6 Lions. Those two teams are right neck and neck, but the Packers did beat the Lions, so I gave them the edge. Number
this
7.
List is awesome.
The Buccaneers, number 7, same sort of tier as the Packers, Lions, and as the Packers and the Lions. Number 8, tier gap, I have the Commanders, and then number 9, Steelers, 10, Colts. I have 4 honorable mentions: Broncos, Jags, Cowboys, and Ravens, just because I have a little bit of faith in the Ravens. So one more time through the top 10: Eagles, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, Packers, Lions, Buccaneers, Commanders, Steelers, Colts. Guys, what do you think about this list? Who wants to go first?
Oh, shit.
Joe, you got a lot to say. Why don't you go first?
I don't understand how you can have the best team in football right now at 10. I think the Colts should be number 1. I think it's pretty easy to say that Jonathan Taylor's one of the probably playing running back better than anyone right now. Best running back in football right now, and you can pair that with Daniel Jones, who leads the league in QBR. I think he has a 79.6 QBR. He's 3rd in the league in passing yards, 6 touchdowns and 2 picks. We're not even talking about his rushing touchdowns that he has. He's been stat padding those just like Hurts does. But Colts are playing elite football right now. I kind of love to see it with Shane Steichen. I did not want him to get fired from Indianapolis. I also have Pittsburgh too. I don't know how you had Buffalo. I don't know how you had the Eagles at 1 after kind of what they've done this year. Plus, Jacksonville is another team you're sleeping on. Their defense is second. No.
They should be an honorable mention. I forgot to. Oh, I did say them as number 12, honorable mention.
Yeah. I got the Packers at 10. I just think you're not looking at the actual season. You're just going off what you expect.
My Super Bowl take.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I got faith in them for a reason. I think there's obviously a lot of hype around them for credible reasons. Is that your list? You want to go through it one more time?
Colts, Steelers, Bills, Eagles, Lions, Bucks, Chiefs, Jags, Broncos, Packers, Dallas at 11.
So no Rams.
I forgot the Rams.
All right. Where do you want to put the Rams?
I put them I put them at 8. I'll put them above the Jags, under the Chiefs.
All right. I
don't know. It's just they've been weird this year. I'd say.
They have. I even thought the Rams last year. I was a little surprised that I actually was right for having faith in them. I think their defense is really bad against the run. I can't believe their game with the Eagles was so close, but they still lost anyway. Lost some really fluky games this year that they shouldn't have, and that's not something I expect from Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. Dan, hit me with your top 10 list.
So for me, of course, starting it off, of course, I got the Birds at 1 easily, and it's overall for me just because of the fact that it's you can tell they still have that like something in that game that when they knew it was when it was do or die. It's like seeing Hurts throw that Hail Mary and hustle the way he did. I'm just bro, this team still has what it needs, and they still have that fire. Of course, the Birds are the one, they the champs last time I checked, so I can't disagree, and I'm not gonna sleep on them. Going 2, I got the Bills. Number 3, I got the Rams. 4, I got the Bucks. I know, Scott, before you had the Chiefs, but I think their dominance and how ruthless Baker has been in terms of wanting to win and making sure he's hustling and getting the ball where he needs to be and making the right plays, I got to give him the respect. I got the Colts at 5. And the thing is about the Colts that I didn't put them any higher is because genuinely, right, you know damn well, if Hurts were to play these teams, we would not be talking about – we would be shitting on him like crazy. Their first one being against the Dolphins.
Let him go.
The Titans, the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the Broncos. We just lost to the Broncos, but at the end of the day, right, it's when the Eagles had their 2023 season. And Scott, we had this conversation before the 2022 season about a Mickey Mouse error. You never got to see somebody really challenge them. Yeah. It's something new. No one's ever seen it. Different scheme, different style, different all this stuff in between. You don't got film on. What happened to CJ Stroud after year 1? Sophomore slump. Jaden Daniel. still a little bit off, but he's having to figure it out now slowly, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not going to sleep on the Colts I'm going to keep him in the 5, but I can't put him any higher until I see them play somebody like the Rams, who they lost to in a key moment like that, the way they did, that it's like, in reality, it's like, you could be a playoff team, but you're going to go far. That's kind of where I'm at with it. 6, I got the Chiefs. 7, I got the Lions. 8, I got the Steelers. 9, I got the Packers. And 10, I got the Jags.
Okay.
Who was your number 1 again?
Eagles.
The Birds.
You just had to get that one in there.
You had to get that shit in there.
All right. It seems like, Joey, where'd you have the Eagles?
I have a 5.
I think you didn't even have them on the list. I'm not even going to bullshit you.
I was just making sure you had them on the list. If we average, if we average our rankings, I think we have the Eagles as our highest team. I can't do it all right now on the spot. I'll be able to do that in future shows. But I think if we did have an average ranking, that would be it. 1 second, guys.
Big Powerade bottle.
Yeah, big Powerade bottle. Gotta stay hydrated with body armor.
100%.
Just kidding. The St. Giants Nation show.
Yeah. Shout out Bobby Skinner.
Yeah, shout out Bobby Skinner. But yeah, I think really, and the truth is, there is a bunch of ways you could order these top 10 lists right now. We just saw 3 top 5 teams lose, upset games, and there's a lot you could take away from that. Some of it you could think is just they didn't show up that week. They had a bad week, one bad player, or is it really telling of a weakness from the team? We're not really sure. All these teams have flaws, but this is the best time in the NFL when you're not really sure who's going to win. It's always boring when you just expect it to be like the Chiefs or something like that, or the Eagles. Like I thought it was going to be. I thought they were in their own tier of inevitable, but that's clearly not the case anymore. So, does anyone have any closing thoughts for today's show? We could just kind of hang out for the last couple minutes. Anything stick out to you? Dak Prescott. Do we talk about? Do we have the Dak conversation now and kind of lead into?
You kind of had one already.
Yeah, we kind of already had one a little bit.
It's gotta be long as hell. Oh yeah, personally, the one thing I'm gonna talk about that really is starting to flip me, like really tick me off. I am over the celebration of releasing the ball as soon as you get to the end zone. I don't think it's flashy. I don't think it's flashy. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's savage. I don't think it makes a statement. I think all it does is it makes you clench your freaking cheeks the entire time while the replay's happening, wondering to yourself, please tell me I've crossed the plane. Because I'm not gonna watch it. When he did it at first, it looked like he extended the ball and then tried to flip it like it's a layup. But last time I checked, you got a helmet on your head and you're playing football. Yeah. So it's like one of those things where I'm just like, I'm so sick and tired because this is not the first time it's happened this season. It's actually been more than it usually has been. And I don't know why people think that's a statement or whatever the case is. I don't know what you guys think, but it's there's certain celebrations that I'm just thoroughly confused why we even think that this is a cool thing to do. I don't know what you guys think, but
I 1,000,000% agree. I'm all for celebrations in the end zone. I think it makes football fun. But I think it's one of the most selfish, stupid things you could ever possibly do as a football player is throw the ball like you're describing. Why even risk it? Why would you even risk that? I don't think it looks cool. I totally agree. I never thought it looked cool to just throw the ball. Oh, I just got into the end zone. I'm going to just drop the ball. That's not cool. I don't know who started that trend saying it's cool, but it's not. Someone's got to find out. We'll find it for the next show. Who's the first NFL player to ever do that? We got to find that guy.
Yeah. I got 2 thoughts on it. A, you're a bottom of the roster guy doing this. I feel like you should be cut. And then 2, just think about your job security and you're doing that. And 2, they lost the game because of that.
Literally because of that. Yeah.
I feel bad for the Cardinals. I think Kyler is not good. Kyler's a fraud. He looks awful every Sunday. I watch him play. And then Jonathan Gannon, I feel like, is just getting cheated kind of.
Honestly, it's really, you see karma really hitting this man hard, bro.
I think he's a good coach. It's just unfortunate the roster that he has. And the quarterback
they just keep trying. I see Blue Baker's going to get traded at some point. I'm so excited for that. And I love Buda Baker as a player personally, and I just think it's just very frustrating to me seeing the Cardinals and how they play because Joey, you were one beforehand. Remember early in the season, I was trying real hard to get Marvin Harrison from you, for the longest time, and then
makes no sense.
He came up big.
He came up big the first time, but I don't know, I don't know whether Kyler's the problem or it's just because of the fact that the Cardinals O-line isn't that great. They're not that hot, but you also have Kyler trying to scramble for his life. But also Kyler just be looking like he don't even want to be there.
You can't see over the line. He makes a boneheaded play.
I think I'm low-key taller than him, bro. Low-key do think that.
I am, as you guys can see, I'm a Kyler Murray truther over here. I think anything they've ever said about Dak Prescott or any of these other quarterbacks in bad situations applies to the Cardinal. He was the number 1 overall pick, went to a garbage organization, and just until now, they finally get Marvin Harrison Jr., and I don't think it's been Kyler's fault that they haven't been able to get it going. The defense finally is starting to look better, but last year, it was decimated with injuries.
You saw what he did with Prime D, end of the Prime D-Hop.
Right. That's what you would think, and that was Prime D-Hop, to be fair, but that's what you would expect. And their wide receiver two is what? Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch. It's the same thing as the Giants, except Harrison hasn't worked out nearly as well as Neighbors. So I'm still going to stand by Kyler Murray. I don't know exactly where I rank him right now. That's still something that's in heavy flux. But I think on a team like the Eagles, I think he would do what Jalen Hurts does. That's personally how I feel. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. I think the tush push would be a little different. But I think other than that, obviously the structure of the offensive line.
The tush push would definitely not work with Kyler Murray behind that drum, bro.
Well, you could just put Goddard there. I mean, that's what other teams do, is they just use the tight end. It doesn't matter because that offensive line is what's really making that play work anyway. It doesn't, if anything, it would go ahead.
I feel like you don't watch Kyler play football, is what I feel like. I feel like you just check the stats.
I'm not checking. No,
Kyler is as incompetent as they come at quarterback.
I think his big flaw is throwing over the middle of the field. Obviously, as a shorter quarterback, that's going to be an issue. But you quite literally cannot put a price on play extension. I think he's one of the best at it. I think he really is. His ability to roll out of the pocket, that baseball player athleticism that he has clearly shows because he makes throws on the move like it doesn't even make a difference to him whether he's got his feet set or not. And I think if he had a nice wide receiving core and a better offensive coordinator, I think you'd see good things out of the Cardinals. And you see, what does he do with the run game when James Conner was there and when they had Clayton Adams? That run game was nasty when that offensive line was healthy.
Guess where the run game is at this year?
It's not as good. I mean, James Conner got injured for the year.
Where do you think it's at, though?
It's probably
like 28.
Bottom 10, I would say.
It's last.
Well, they've been run, and they've been losing.
You know what it was, Joe? You know what it was? It was that freaking flip layup at the end zone, bro.
Yeah, probably stuff like that. You got Amari DiMarcado starting out there, and I would say that probably has something to do with it, along with losing Clayton Adams for sure. I don't know, but
I was going to say, let me finish. The number one team in the run game this year is the Cowboys. What is the common trend there? Clayton Adams. You know who's going to be a head coach next year, probably, which is going to suck to see him leave, is Clayton Adams. He's going to be gone. There's no way we could keep him. He's
too good. The Giants should try to get him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They ran for like 160 yards against the Jets with 4 backup offensive linemen. It's all Clayton Adams and what he's drawn up.
Yeah, and it's been that every week. We saw them run the ball against the Eagles. If you think the Jets' defense is bad, we saw them run the ball against the Eagles. I get they didn't have Jalen Carter, but still, that Eagles defense is pretty deep, and that's Vic Fangio calling the defense. So, very impressive run game for the Cowboys, and that was something I don't think a lot of us expected. And yes, I think Clayton Adams is probably the biggest variable there, the biggest impact. I would agree, but I think when it comes to judging quarterbacks, if you're going to look at Dak and be upset about the defense he's had, and Brandon Cooks is his wide receiver one, that's been Kyler Murray's entire career. So
Dak looks like a quarterback when he plays quarterback. Kyler looks like a baby.
All right.
My whole thing with the whole concept of like offensive coordinator, like, because I'm assuming how many coordinators has Kyler had so far already?
I don't even know.
A lot.
Probably
a lot, right? But the thing is, it's just like that's where I guess I'm curious is because it's like, so is Hurts, so is Mayfield.
Yeah.
But it's like what makes Kyler, you know what I mean? Like besides like to me at this point it's just like is the GM why is the GM not in the hot seat? Because you're clearly seeing that the picks that they're making, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even know who the Cardinals first round pick was this year.
So it was,
they had a D tackle.
It was what's his name? The pass rushing one. Walter Nolan, wasn't it?
You might be, yeah,
It
actually.
was Walter
I think
Nolan.
so.
Yeah, and they put
I think it was,
yeah, it was Walter Nolan.
Either way, the D tackles first round so far have been underwhelming.
They have. I think to point out, to just quickly respond to what you said with the different offensive coordinators, when you don't have the roster like the Buccaneers and the Eagles, you can kind of survive. If you have that roster, you can kind of survive like a mid-offensive coordinator if you have a quarterback like Jalen or Kyler who are kind of like that, debatable tier, I'll just say, which is a lot of guys. If the roster is there, it can make up for the OC being bad. But if you don't have the OC and you don't have the roster, it's just a quarterback. Yeah, like there's not much you can do. Look at Daniel Jones and how good. You just said he was the number one team and with the Colts and how great he's been playing. Why was he the worst quarterback in NFL history on the Giants, right?
Brian Daboll.
Because of Brian, you can go ahead and say Brian Daboll and the roster, right? And that's what I'm trying to say is as a Giants fan, I've gotten pretty good at, I feel like, identifying when a quarterback isn't working with much. I don't know.
I just think Kyler Murray at his best is average.
Average?
Yeah, he's an average quarterback, and it's all because it all ties into his size on a football field. It's really
that is his limiting factor.
You think Bryce Young too then?
It's not baseball, brother. It's football. We're talking about the NFL.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking you, is Bryce Young the same thing?
Bryce Young is actually, yeah, he's the same thing.
That's what I said. Bryce Harper, bro, is definitely watching the Phillies game, right?
I said Bryce Harper.
Yeah, you did.
No, that's what you did.
I'm watching. You guys are making a comeback right now.
Bro, just like, that's why you said, you're like, we're not talking about baseball, brother. We're talking about football.
I got the score right here.
Oh, and I guess I should do this before we take off. Update on the Chiefs-Jaguars game that is going on right now. Monday Night Football. The Chiefs are up 14-0. And everyone was, people are always excited to jump on the Chiefs and say that they're terrible,
Yeah.
because they're ugly football. But, the reality is they're the best coach team in the NFL. And
Mahomes has a passing and rushing touchdown.
And that he's been killing it this year with the rushing. Trevor Lawrence, 4 for 6 for 61. Brian Thomas Jr. is looking pretty decent. So is Brenton Strange. So me and Gene's game is probably pretty close. So I can't wait to check that.
Oh, Strange is cooking?
Well, he has one
catch
of 22 yards.
Tyquan Thornton has 3 catches for 90 yards right now.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. And then you get Rashee Rice coming back after next week. Yeah, I like that. Chiefs number 4. That's for me. Alrighty, guys. You think that's good for the first episode of the NFC East pod?
Yeah. I think I'm like where we at. That shit was fun. I'm not gonna lie. As time goes on and the things go on, and the thing is too, it's just like me and Joey also know baseball too. So I'm telling you, this don't gotta stop. We just keep it pushing and keep it rolling all year long.
I'm working on it with the baseball.
You gotta get to it.
Yeah, we still need a Commanders fan too.
Yankees lose.
Where are the Mets at right now?
Same place you guys.
Soto got you guys further away from the World Series.
This is a Yankees fan talking about this, by the way. The only thing that used to matter to the Yankees fan was championships. Now they're just flexing playoff appearances. Just let that set.
It's not over till it's over, right?
Pretty much over.
It's pretty much over. Okay.
Blue Jays is just nasty, man.
Yeah, the Blue Jays, they're looking.
How does Vlad have more signature? How does Vlad have more playoffs and signature moments than Aaron Judge does in his whole career?
I couldn't tell you. I don't think anyone could tell you the answer to that is the truth.
It's because Lamar and Judge are the same person
Maybe.
when it comes to playoffs.
Maybe they are. Hopefully they aren't. Hopefully they both can eventually win a ring because they both definitely deserve one for how good they can be.
I hope they retire ringless, both of them.
That's a pretty strange thing to hope for.
Especially Aaron Judge. I hope Aaron Judge retires with nothing in his resume, championship-wise.
Well, that I get a little bit more. But all right, guys. Before this gets too long and people don't want to click on the video, we'll just shout out that the plan is to do this every Monday night at 8 o'clock, recapping, that week of the NFL, answer some big questions, say who our, biggest surprises, best teams are, and all that kind of stuff, and just have some fun. Still looking for a Commanders fan. If you guys know one who would love to do something like this, please say it in the comments. Drop a like on the stream. It'll help push it out to more people just like you who want to see NFC East content, Giants, Cowboys, Eagles, and Commanders. And subscribe to the channels that are present. Mine would be The Pocket. Dan's would be Debate with Dan. He's also got that one dude where he does gaming. Very versatile content creator right there. And then Joey is a mysterious one. I'm not too sure what he's going to be doing, but maybe he'll start something at some point. But if not, you can catch him here with his lovely sound effects and hatred of particular things. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. It was a blast doing this, and I can't wait to do it again next week. I'll see you guys.
I'll catch you on the next one.